email address to disseminate classified material to his own lawyers. You're supposed to get the approval of the FBI. He didn't get that approval. Among the many serious violations, let's go through the list. The Inspector General found that, quote, Comey's retention, handling, dissemination of certain government memos violated department and FBI policies and his FBI employment agreement. Comey did not seek authorization from the FBI before providing sensitive government memos to his attorneys. You're supposed to do that. Additionally, Comey did not seek FBI authorization before providing the contents of Memo 4 through Richmond to a reporter at the New York Times. Comey told the Office of Inspector General that he did not notify anyone at the FBI that he was going to share these memos with anyone. Comey violated applicable policies and his employment agreement by failing to either surrender his copies of the memos to the FBI or to seek authorization to retain them. Now, once he knew that the FBI had classified portions of Memo 2, Comey failed to immediately notify the FBI that he had previously given Memo 2 to his attorneys. And despite knowledge that Memo 3 contained classified information, Comey did not appropriately mark Memo 3 with classification banners, portion markings, or a classification authority block. Comey violated Executive Order 13526, an Intelligence Community Department and FBI policies governing marking of classified information. Comey was not authorized to disclose the statements that he attributed to President Trump in Memo 4, which were relevant to the ongoing Flynn investigation. Comey was also in clear violation of the FBI's, pre-publication review policy. Now, I can go on, because this memo today went on and on. There are 79 pages, 79 devastating pages documenting Comey's gross misconduct. And this is just, as I said, this is one small sliver. This is only the tip of the iceberg. Today's report is solely and very narrowly focused on Comey's illicit leaking and mishandling of sensitive government memos and retaining such. Now, that's just one small little part of Comey's web of corruption. Now, this is the low-hanging fruit if you're looking for the bigger picture. So while the Attorney General Barr is declining to prosecute what are clear criminal violations for now, we expect several more damning bombshell reports in the coming weeks, including the big FISA report. And as we have mentioned, the investigation into FISA abuse will likely detail how Comey and others, that they committed premeditated fraud against the FISA court. In that case, Comey swore that the evidence in the FISA application was verified, that it was corroborated, that it was true. And multiple renewals, by the way, similarly were verified, corroborated, and true. The warrant request was marked verified at the very top of the document. In other words, a FISA application, verified. It's right there. Now, the evidence was not true, it was not accurate, and it was never verified. In fact, we have pointed out on this program, we now know it was unverifiable. Its claims deemed unverifiable. And when the FBI finally got around to looking into the veracity of it, they determined 90+%, if not all of it, was false. If the warrant was used as the bulk of information to get the warrant against Carter Page, but also a backdoor to spy on the communications of the Trump campaign, the Trump transition team, and the president. And according to Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett, quote, it can be a felony to conceal relevant information and deceive the FISA court. A half a dozen statutes make it a crime to perpetuate a fraud on the court, including deprivation of rights, 18 U.S.C. 242, perjury, 18 U.S.C. 1621, 1623, and false statements, 18 U.S.C. 1001. And of course, you could add to that several obstruction of justice and fraud statutes that all would be applicable. Now, those are devastating charges Comey and others could be facing in the coming weeks. But that's not all. Another massive investigation, which I believe will become the biggest part of all of this abuse of power and corruption, all that surrounds the origins of the Russia witch hunt. Now, that probe, now being conducted by the Attorney General and by John Durham, is now focused on how James Comey, how John Brennan, James Clapper, others weaponized the powerful tools of intelligence that we entrust to these brave men and women in our intelligence community, and how they weaponize them against all things Donald Trump. Now, whether or not the Obama-Biden administration, this is going to be the big question in all of this, solicited foreign intel agencies, well, to circumvent American law, to do the spying that they can't do on the Trump campaign and other Americans. That would be a really serious crime. Now, the bigger issue becomes, why did President Obama begin a counterintelligence investigation against an incoming president? He will